So starting positions, we're going to have ideally a chair where you sit on it and your hip is roughly at 90 degrees. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but on this variation, that's what we're looking for roughly. We're going to have the shoulders flexed, so bringing the elbows through. We don't want it too high, just bring the elbows through roughly around 60 degrees, no higher. So if they're down a little bit more down here, or should I say more here, that's absolutely fine. Where we don't want them too high at 90 degrees. And we're going to have the forearm straight up, clenched fists, and that's so we can help open up this upper back, and also it's going to get you used to holding an external load at some point. So opposite leg can be extended. I'm going to try and keep it extended all the way through, but you can flex it, just making sure that you don't touch down onto the floor, but you can if you do lose your balance, obviously that's absolutely fine. And we're going to have this knee roughly around 90 degrees, and we're going to be making a point of pushing down into the floor, feeling the whole foot. So before we go, I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure down into the floor. That's when I'm going to be leaning forward slightly. And so before we drive up, that's when we're going to be looking for these parallel lines again. So if the lower leg is there, we're going to drive up from our torso position here. So we want these parallel lines of each other. In terms of the breathing, we're going to have a breath in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth, and then that's when we're going to form a nice brace. So we're just making sure that we've got that rib cage down as always. Going to have a slight bit of posterior tilt. We're going to breathe in again from this new position with the rib cage down, and then as you drive up, that's when you're going to breathe out through your mouth. So when you come back down, try to keep your balance, don't just flop down. Try and keep the opposite leg up. You can keep this opposite leg flexed if you like, just not touching the floor. That's absolutely fine. So before we go again, making sure that we're feeling the whole foot. We're going to feel slight tension within the hip, and then that's when we're going to drive up, keeping the chest up at the same time, breathing out through the mouth. So when you do come back down, we're going to put the whole body weight back onto the chair. Then we're going to reset the position, in through the nose with a breath, and then breathing out through the mouth. Nice and controlled on the way down. So on this variation of the squat, we're going to be using a band, and we're going to be attaching some handles on each end, and that's why we're going to be putting the handles into that goblet position. So the band is literally just wrapped around the bottom of my foot, and as you can see, it's just coming to each side of my leg, and then we've come up into that goblet position. So I'm just bringing both hands together. Forearm's going to be pointing straight up towards the ceiling, and we're going to have that upper arm pulled through to about 60 degrees. Try not to take it any higher, and we're going to maintain that elbow position all the way through the exercise. Just regarding the band under the bottom of your foot, if you aren't wearing any trainers, then I would recommend to wear some, because it can become a little bit sore under the bottom of your foot, especially when you're using heavier bands. So exactly the same technique as before, just being aware that the band is going to pull you down, so try and keep your balance as you come down, driving back up, same technique.